Transformation in 3, 2, 1.
Hi everybody, Heather Stargazer here to do reading for the collective, for whoever, whenever, wherever. We got all of our stuff out today. We are out on the railroad tracks. My kids call it the dirt path. It's the closest thing to a nature trail that we have around here. So if the train comes by, I will mute that part and make it fast forward, especially if it's on this first track here. I will probably get up and move my physical body because I don't know how safe that is, but I had this call to get out here this morning and to do this and to bring all of these things, including the crystal ball. Yesterday I was seeing cliffs in Antarctica. I was seeing like ice sheets melting. I hope that was, symbolic. It could be symbolic and literal in some senses. There's like this feeling of like a cooling off of the temperature, like something big happening and it changing the perspective, like the feel of the situation. You know, when the ice sheets melt, they cool the ocean temperatures, which circulates cold air. So even though it's getting warmer, it's actually also cooling it. There's like a balancing off, right? Like this shearing effect. I'm hearing temporal lobe. I don't know what that's about. I don't believe I've read crystal ball for you guys on the channel. I'm seeing birds flying. There's messages coming through. It's a big one. Like there's yeah, you know what? It's turning into like a turkey or something edible, something that humans eat. And then I'm seeing a space, like a step back, taking a step back. Things opening up, things widening, things being more available. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of activity, a lot of things, people, things, whatever it might be, going in different directions, moving at different levels, but all at high speeds. Things are moving very quickly. And here comes the wind. Ancestors, spirits, so many birds. What messages do you have for the collective today? Ooh, we have the Knight of Cups coming out. Let me just check this mixed deck here. Knight of Cups is coming out in the reverse. You know, whenever that happens, it's like a disingenuous action or something that somebody didn't really feel great about doing. Maybe they went against their moral code. I'm also seeing a yellow finch, a gold finch. That might be symbolic for someone. Six of Pentacles, like generosity, right? Let's see what's coming out here. Five of Pentacles. Yeah. Someone might be, like I said, taking a little much. Ooh, now we have the Four of Swords coming through. So we have 6, 5, 4. Is that it, Spirit? What next? Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Six of Wands. Listen, it feels like somebody, it might not be like a team player. Somebody might not be completely, I know I keep looking out, there's birds everywhere. Someone might be needing to take a rest because they're emotionally exhausted. Right? And it feels like there is this idea of not learning anymore from this, like learning all that can be learned, not wanting to share the information, not wanting to share what's coming next, kind of leaving one aspect out of something and it winds up being successful. There's the Chariot. I'm hearing the old stick in the mud, right? There's two immature energies coming out on the board and both of them are going in the reverse. I think that sometimes when we feel that mental stagnation, that emotional stagnation, it keeps us from being open to learning things, whether that be you or someone else. I have a feeling that it's someone else. It might be somebody who's just not heard come to that conclusion quite yet. And again, that idea of lots of messages moving through and people at different levels or events at different levels, like soaring through and all going different speeds, but fast, all of them going fast. And there's that chariot. And again, that idea of like traveling, movement, things rushing forward. It's almost like you needed to take a step back and take a break from people and things that were emotionally taxing, right? Somebody was like, take, and it could have even made you physically ill, right? And this, again, is on the emotional level. And it's almost like there's a remedy to this by giving a physical something to balance it out. There's like this idea of six of Pentacles over the Page of Pentacles here in the reverse, right? Page of Pentacles in the reverse is like, how much have you been giving, how much have you been receiving, and what have you been learning? There's this idea of like stagnated learning here. And then the Five of Pentacles comes through. Yes, it's like about sometimes being left out, but there's people in this card and they're giving, right? There's a woman with her child. She's taking care of her child. And even though she's left on the outside, there is someone there who is generously giving support or helping in some way, which could be this Six of Pentacles here. And what it does is it comes out in success. Now we have two sixes, 6, right? Our relationships, the things that we spend time with, who we spend time with, what is it that we're doing here. And there's a success, right? Which allows you to, wow, Wheel of Fortune underneath that, you guys, how beautiful. The Chariot with the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Wands. This winds up being a huge success. And the wind is I'll do my best to get that wind out of there. But I'm loving it. It is so beautiful right now. I think that might be something else that we need to really, I heard feel and interpret, and then I'm seeing like a bear claw scratch, right? And if you ever, it's reminding me of the Clan of the Cave Bear. That I don't know if you've ever read those books, Plains of Passage, Mammoth Hunters. The name of the author is on my tongue right now, but one of the books, Clan of the Cave Bear, was made into a movie in the mid '80s. Daryl Hannah plays Ayla, and she's like Cro-Magnon man who gets. There's like an earthquake. Her family is caught up in it. She is left orphaned. She hides this cave cougar, right? It's coming after her, so she hides in this little outcropping of rocks, and it can't quite reach her, but it scratches her thigh, and it winds up leaving this mark on her. And then after it leaves, she comes out and she's sick and she falls, right? She's injured and she falls, and this clan of Neanderthals finds her, and the medicine woman and the medicine man, they're brother and sister, and they wind up adopting her and raising her, and she is outside of the norm for the rest of the clan, right? She learns faster, she can count, she is capable of things physically that they might be capable of but are forbidden. And another thing that happens is that the Neanderthals, the Clan of the Cave Bear, keep in mind this is fiction, I'm telling you a storyline, I have no idea what cave people actually thought or did, but she doesn't fit in there, right? They have memories. They have instinctual memories, things that are implanted in their brains that they know of, and when they're born, it is just known to them. But at the same time, they don't step outside of those things, right? They don't learn more. They don't learn something new. And Ayla is adaptable. She is creative. She can figure things out on her own, and she doesn't have those memories, right? It's like this balancing out of those things. And in the end, she winds up getting they tell her that cave cougar the cave lion is her spirit animal, because it caused her this damage. It ripped everything away from her that she knew. It left her alone, and at the same time, it gave her the strength to adapt, to be raised in an environment that she was completely alien in, and yet exceed those expectations, exceed those limits. And even though that she didn't fit in they couldn't, most of them were not accepting of her or thought that she was like an outlier, right? And it made it very difficult for her in her life. She winds up being able to supersede the limitations set upon them by their instincts, by their cultural flow, by those memories that rule their lives, right? And in a way, this is kind of like feeling like this is our expansion from those things that scarred us, those things that hurt us, those things that were outside of our control, maybe at a very young age or at a very early stage of our development or the development of something, right? It could have been us ourselves, or it could have been things, bodies of work. I'm hearing bodies of work. It could have been like a business that you started, something of the like, right? But there could have been something very difficult that set it back, that caused challenges for you in the long run, and you superseded those things and wound up putting you outside of those lockstep, those restrictions, and enabled you to blossom. And that's also because of who you innately are, right? You are innately able to break those chains. You're innately able to learn, adapt, grow, and reconfigure things that you've already learned, right? Very, very interesting coming through here. And I think that that is like a perfect story for how this is a success in your in the folds of the fabric of what it is that you're doing right now. Let's get a rune. I only brought one set of tarot. And it's very interesting too, like the chariot and the wheel, right? Cancer, we're in the time of Cancer right now. So this is very, very timely. Big changes, right? Big changes. And I think that even though it might have come from a place of challenge, you have succeeded. Look at that. Othella. Also very, very interesting. Possessions, inheritance. It came out in the reverse. The things that, again, that we didn't inherit. Things that we had to, I heard, invent for yourself. So if you're an inventor, it's going to be very, very successful if you've come up with an idea. You know, inventions are mechanical contraptions, of course. But they're also ideas. They're also organization systems, right? All of those things. And again, this wind, I hope it's not too loud. And it's the hermit crab with these crystals on top. I don't know how well you can see it here, but you know, the home, we take our home with you because home is where your heart is, and we take our heart with us where we go. And so sometimes we feel like we can let ourselves out of that shell, and sometimes we feel that we need to protect ourselves in that space. Just breeze. And the seagulls. Fehu is on the bottom, which also talks about the possessions, the things that we own, the things that we have, right? I feel like what this is, a big message that's coming through here is that we are creating the inheritance, the new inheritance that we're leaving the next generation, or that we are presenting this new adaptation, this whole new generation of things, much like Ayla, right? Cro-Magnon man, she's the evolution of the next step of the advancement of, right? That was able to do things, but at the same time didn't carry that legacy with them. And I feel like with Othella in the reverse here, it's talking about that, like creating new legacy, especially with Fehu and these possessions coming through. It's like, what is yours? What is in that material world spectrum? How are we handling that in our lives, right? I'm going to do a practical witch's spell here card, and then I also got a yoga deck. So I brought the yin yoga deck so we can find some positions, maybe some spaces. Like, keep in mind, you know, I'm not a doctor, I'm also not a yoga instructor, so keep in mind that everything is you know, to your comfort. If you get to a point of pain or stretch where it's causing discomfort, that's where you need to stop. All right, one. Or maybe that's where it needs to be addressed. I'm hearing that's where it needs to be addressed. Be gentle with yourself. Spirit. Altar spells. Meditation chant. Add tokens that represent peace of mind to your altar, including crystals, flowers, or candles. Breathe steadily and deeply. Chant, Great Goddess, giver of all the fruits of this earth, of all bounty and well-being, bless all who give and receive these gifts. I am made of the sacred earth, purest water, sacred fire, and wildest wind. Blessing upon me, blessing upon thee, Mother Earth and Sister Sky, so mote it be. Wow, with that generosity coming through here, Six of Pentacles, you guys, and the success in that. Ooh, we want to read it again? Okay, there's a car. Great Goddess, giver of all the fruits of this earth, of all bounty, beauty, and well-being, bless all those who give and receive these gifts. I am made of sacred earth, purest water, sacred fire, and wildest wind. Blessing upon me, blessing upon thee, Mother Earth and Sister Sky, so mote it be. Wow. And then I'm seeing this, like, look at these things we decorate our altars with, our homes here with these crystals, and the giving, the generosity with that squirrel, giving and receiving that acorn, the possessions, giving of ourselves. You know, we possess our spirit, we possess our ideas. These are things that we're sharing, right? Being giving and sharing in spirit. So we're going to get one yoga position, space that we need to, maybe two. Okay, because different people have different things. So whichever ones resonate for you. And then we'll close up with a message from the Messiah's Handbook, short little quip. Ooh, ancestor spirits, guides, where do our bodies need to, or where are our bodies feeling this? Ooh, deer pose. Can you see her? Deer pose. It says, make sure both knees have a 90-degree angle. Option to hold it forward in this pose, or if not, it's enough. Okay, so again, that feeling of like pushing yourself to a limit, like feeling that stretch, feeling where that is, and then not exceeding that. Where that is enough. It's where it needs to be. And this looks like kidney and bladder. All right. And again, the filtration systems of our bodies telling us these things and allowing that movement to flow through. Both of those also have to do with the liquid in our bodies, with the water, right? So how do we cleanse those things? Maybe it's also a good idea to increase your uptake and intake of water today. Be mindful of that, and don't hold it. If you got to pee, if you got to go. All right. It's good for your kidneys, that flush. What have we got here? Oh, supported reclined butterfly. We love that, don't we? My friend got me one of those pillows, and it's the greatest thing in the world. So perfectly firm, and it just supports. If you do not have one of those pillows, just find yourself a firm pillow, or you can also fold a blanket or a towel, right, to give you that support in your lumbar through here. Again, I'm not a yoga instructor. I just know what my body feels like when I do these things. And it's also talking about, this is the lungs, the kidneys, the bladder, and the intestines. So this now is talking about the air that we intake, and also our excretion, you know, what we're letting go of in that real material sense, right? It says, depending on your flexibility, it is recommended to use back cushions to support the knees so you can fully relax in your resting pose, right? And again, this is about really letting ourselves feel that, really being in that space of letting ourselves, all of that flow through, not holding things in, right? When we flush our systems, it's allowing those things to come through and cleanse, and then to relax into it, right? Again, don't hold it, whether it be your urine, whether it be your, number two, or whether it be your muscle tension, your breath. Don't hold it. All right. It said, unconditional love is no more a force in space-time than it is in chess or soccer or ice hockey. Rules define life in games, and unconditional love doesn't recognize rules. Wow. Back to that instilled memory, that restriction through forced tradition or through habit, right? And it kind of being the blocking to the student energy. Right. Okay. And then it's a slow process, changing principles. And you'll never know they've changed until something that used to be right just doesn't feel that way anymore. Wow. And again, that it's a slow process, letting things take time, right? Letting things build up to that space and time where we are able to relax into the next mode, because we have to be open to receive what's coming next, right? Oh, you're going to do great. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you got something out of it. Thank you so much for being here. You guys, we made it through the whole reading and we didn't get a train. I think that's a blessing. Definitely. Thank you, Spirit. Good timing. I'm wishing you all the best. Thank you for hitting like and subscribe, because it really makes a difference and I really do appreciate it. And thank you for coming back and seeing us again next time. Bye.
Transformation in 3, 2, 1.